What's up, YouTube? Back to you guys with another amazing video today. So y'all already saw a thumbnail. Y'all already know what time it is. We finna be going over some pretty controversial stuff. We finna be going over Carmelo Anthony. I ain't talking about no basketball, nothing like that, as I'm sure you guys already know. We're talking about some serious stuff with a young black boy, young man, if you will. I believe he's like 19 now, if I'm not mistaken, dealing with stabbing another high school student at a track meet in a Dallas, Texas neighborhood. So we're going to be going over that. We already had the verdict the other day of him being charged guilty for the crime, and we're going to be going over updates, going over this case right now. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Welcome back. Karmelo Anthony filing to appeal his 35-year prison sentence for the murder of 17-year-old Austin Metcalf at a Frisco track meet. He has the possibility of parole after serving half that sentence.
$35 years? I ain't gonna lie to you, I can't swing that. I can't do it. I can't do it. Eligible for parole for half of that sentence. That's what, 17 and a half years? Shit. Oh, Lord. He not even 20 yet, bro. Kids at home watching, parents at home watching, make sure they doing what they need to do and they ain't doing what they supposed to be doing because, bro, 35 years? Nah. He ain't gonna get out to like, what, like 54, 55? If you do the full time? Nah, bro. Let's continue.
An audible gasp heard inside the courtroom as the sentence was read. Carmelo Anthony, inconsolable, his head hung low, crying. And for the first time since the trial began, Austin's twin brother, Hunter, walked into the courtroom. He spoke directly to Carmelo Anthony. "I just want some respect if you could look me in the eye." Carmelo looked up. Hunter continued, "I'm trying to learn how to forgive. I'm trying to understand why he had to go. You took away someone who was supposed to be an uncle to my kids." Austin's father also spoke directly to his son's killer. "We were robbed. Don't look down. The public response sickens me, especially when a gag order doesn't allow me to defend my son. This was never about race or politics. But what you did was to choose to make it about both. Grief is not sad, it's rage. A piece of me died with my son. I forgive you, but I do not forgive what you did. You can't even look me in the eye, but you can stab my son in the effing heart." Austin's mother telling Anthony, "You may have just been given a sentence of 35 years behind bars. You can consider yourself lucky because I've been sentenced to a lifetime without my son." Heartbreaking, devastating. This case is tragic. But somehow...
That is brutal. That stuff will cut deep. And I don't even want to make it about any politics or any race, which it shouldn't be, but unfortunately, a lot of people have made it about that because of the circumstances of it. But at the end of the day, both families lost their kids, and this situation was completely avoidable. Like, if you can't even agree with that, I don't know what else to tell you. Whichever side you may lean on, whether you think Carmelo is innocent or you think he's guilty, if you can't even agree with that alone, I don't even know if I'm talking to a human being at that point anymore. I don't even know what to say to you. But let's get back to it.
Now, it also became tribal. Outside the courthouse and online in the comments section, a modern American racial drama played out. Not because everyone saw it that way, but because a group of activists insisted on seeing it that way.
I said, as a former prosecutor, this was a legal lynching that happened in this slaughterhouse. This is a slaughterhouse. This is not a courthouse. This courthouse is designed when you will come here and you look like us to slaughter you. That's what they were. Those twins are domestic racist terrorists.
Illegal lynching, domestic terrorists. That person is a lawyer. My question is, who gave that person a law degree or a bar card? Unfortunately, it gets worse.
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI creation platform.
They should have both been arrested.
They both should have been dead. Both brothers. Both of them should have been dead. You ask me?
Oh, man. I love my people, but bruh, this is insane. Oh my God. Y'all just be wishing death on anybody. I got a little too much hate in y'all heart, man. So from what I've looked at on this case, from hearing a bunch of stories, Karmelo's had to deal with these two white boys, and apparently they've been bullying him before. So they've been at each other's throat, and they met up at a track meet because they were both there competing at that track meet, and it started to rain. And Austin, not Austin, but Karmelo, he found himself underneath Austin Metcalf and his twin brothers' team tent, because each team has their own tent for when it starts raining. And I guess Karmelo's team didn't bring a tent, but Karmelo knew somebody that was at Austin's tent, so that's why he went to them, and he was chilling with his homeboy. And then him and Austin got into it somehow. I don't know if Karmelo started it or Austin started it. Not really sure because the stories are conflicting. But either way, they somehow got into it, which led into Karmelo eventually pulling out a knife and stabbing him, which Karmelo shouldn't have had a knife at a track meet in the first place. And more than anything, where were the adults at to break this up and make sure this stuff didn't escalate and everything like that? Like, through all the testimonies that I read and stuff like that, nowhere in there did they say there was a coach or a parent or anybody around at the time, no legal adult around to help de-escalate the situation, which is insane to me. Especially if everybody's underneath the tents because it's raining, so where the hell are the adults at? Because that's my thing. That's really one of the biggest questions I have, not the only one, but one of the biggest questions I have is, if everybody's underneath the tent because it's raining, cool, okay, where are the adults at for that tent? Like, I really need to understand that. Because I ain't gonna lie to you, I've been to a lot of different athletic events in high school. I even wrestled in high school myself, been to a lot of track meets, blah, this, blah, that. I'm gonna tell you right now, I never got my bag searched. So I can see him skating on by and having a knife in his bag, which Karmelo shouldn't have had that knife in the first place, but I can see how he had the knife. I never got searched. I just walked right in. That was the end of it. Anybody search my bag, see what I had up in it? That was my experience. I've never heard or seen somebody getting searched like that for an event. I've refereed different events and stuff like that, of course, as sporting events for wrestling, things of that nature, and never got my bag searched, never seen somebody get their bag searched. So walking in with a knife is very easy. Why he had it, I don't know. That question's never been answered, but he ended up using it, and it shot him in the foot. Let's continue.
They both should be dead, referencing the twins. This poison extended to the Metcalf parents.
If he was white, we wouldn't even be here today. It would have never came to court. It would have never been no handcuffs. We wouldn't be here today. They said we supposed to know how to act around white people. What the is that? You should have taught your sons to go get a adult like we know how to do.
Friends of the Metcalf family were even followed to their car. So the question is, how far has this reaction spread? It's far enough that Cardi B has a take. She wrote on X, "Wow, just frickin' wow, disgusting. This is not justice, this is trying to make an example." But Cardi B is a moron. The question is, how widespread is this?
Yo, this dude on Fox News, he is trying to let everybody have it. We can tell which side of the aisle he sits on as far as this case goes, which is fine, but jeez. But hey, people already been saying enough disgusting stuff. He ain't said nothing worse than the black lady earlier saying that both those boys should be dead. That's crazy to me. Like, what have they done? They deserve to just be dead. Like, dog. Oh Lord, I'm gonna be real with y'all real quick, man. I got bullied when I was in elementary, right? I got bullied. For years I got bullied. And this ain't to make it about me. This is just to describe you like how I would want people to approach being bullied. If Carmelo Anthony was really being bullied by these boys, probably what I don't know, but there's no other fact that he used to get bullied by these kids. Y'all want to know what I did? I did every single de-escalation tactic that was brought to me by my parents or the teachers. Blase this, blase that. I never fought in school when I was in grade school. I've never once in my life fought in school. Anytime I fought somebody, I would strategize on where I could fight them outside of school and make sure it was just a fight and nothing else. I just wanted fisticuffs. I didn't want nothing else. I didn't want there to be no guns. I didn't want there to be no weapons. Fisticuff, man to man. Who's really about it? Winner, loser, the end. The main reason I didn't want to fight in school is because I'm competitive. If you fight in school, guess what? It's a good chance that shit gonna get broken up very fucking fast, very quick. Because teachers, security guards all over the place, stuff like that. Probably only gonna get to fight for about anywhere from 15 to 30 seconds tops. Can it win be decided in that short period of time? Yeah, it's possible, but most of the time, no. And typically they is finna say whoever got the most licks in while people bring them up and all this other stuff is no. I don't want there to be no interruptions. I don't want nobody butting in, nothing like that. I want us to have a good, clean, fair fight until we know for a fact there's a winner, not none of this little BS that happens at school. That and I want to get suspended. You got to do every single de-escalation step. And two, like I said, me, if I was Carmelo, I would have found a way to be able to fight him outside school. But there's, even from testimony, I don't see anywhere saying that Carmelo got jumped. But I have heard stories that people are saying that he got jumped. With this, I don't have a dog in the fight. I don't know what happened. I wasn't there, and a lot of these people that are giving their takes on this, they weren't there, and I haven't seen any testimony or any video evidence leading or suggesting that he did get jumped. So I can't really go with that. I'm only going to go with whatever evidence is actually put out there that I can verify. That's the only thing I'm truly going to speak on. It's stuff that I can verify, either testimonies from people that were actually there or some sort of video evidence. Otherwise, all this other stuff is just hearsay and people is making up stuff. I'm not going with that. That boy didn't have to die at the end of the day. He didn't. Let's continue.
Sentiment. Does a significant percentage of Black America see the victim as Carmelo Anthony? We have some evidence. It was really about 50 D-list race hustlers outside the courtroom each day. Their champion was illiterate criminal Dominique Alexander. I mean, this case was so obvious it couldn't even gain the attention of Al Sharpton or Ben Crump. And Ben Crump has never met a race story where he didn't want to be the main character. But this is where the story takes a turn. Because what started outside the courthouse found its way into politics. Texas Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett defended what Carmelo Anthony did.
As a 5'3" woman, if a 300-pound man is beating me, like on top of me and beating me down, I'm not limited to fist. Because I'm telling you right now, if you are twice my weight and got way more strength than me, and you got me pinned down, I don't believe I'm going to survive. You know, I would.
That's nice, but what does that have to do with Carmelo's situation? Nowhere in the testimony they say that they even really got to a fight. There was kind of just shoving, and next thing you know, Carmelo stabbed him. That's what all the testimony led to and said. Yeah, what was his name? Austin Mecca. He was definitely a little bit bigger than Carmelo, but I don't see anywhere in those testimony that's saying they actually got to fist because they was actually banging and fighting. I didn't see it. And that's a totally different thing. You're talking about a small woman with a 300-pound man pinning you down. I would hope that woman would have a weapon on her so she can defend herself and use deadly force. That's a totally different scenario. It's apples to oranges.
To argue that even the only time we go into things like people's hands being considered deadly weapons is typically like if they're a professional boxer or that kind of stuff. But I think by the time you start getting,
it's not a real thing. I'm gonna let y'all know that right now. Been boxing since I was 12, cage fighting now, wrestling high school and college. You don't get your hands registered. It's never been a thing. It's not.
into like football player, good argument. Good freaking argument.
If a 300-pound man had Jasmine Crockett on the ground beating her, I would defend her use of self-defense, because that's what would be supported by the facts and the evidence. It's not a modern American racial drama where the skin color of the characters is all that matters. It's the facts, the circumstances, and the evidence that matter. But that seems to escape the Congresswoman, who has lectured the Metcalf family about real pain.
Navan, the #1 rated business travel platform, lets your team book work travel in one place. Flights, hotels, cars.
Okay, I think we got most of this. I think it's mostly it's gonna be this guy just ranting along about how he don't like everybody and stuff like that. Let's move over to something else. I don't want to watch that video anymore. Let's go to something else, y'all. Let's do this. We'll go over to this. Go to good old TikTok. Let's see what they're talking about.
They didn't give Karmelo Anthony 35 years in prison because he's black. They gave him 35 years in prison because his parents didn't care about him. Let me tell you why. Everybody has an arraignment and everybody's offered a plea deal. Everybody's offered a plea deal. Everybody. If he would have pled guilty, he could have got maybe 7 years, 5 years, something small. But if he pled guilty, that would have cut his family's fundraiser short. You know, the fundraiser they bought a $1 million home with or something like that. If he would have pled guilty, it probably would have been a manslaughter charge, something like that. Prosecutors would have worked out a deal. No, but his parents said no. You're going to plead not guilty. We want you to go to trial. We're going to keep the fundraiser going. So he didn't receive 35 years because he was black. He received 35 years because the people who were supposed to be looking after him, they didn't have his best interest. They only wanted that money. And because of that state's laws, that's what they had to convict him with. It sucks, but the parents knew this going into it, and they still decided to push him into trial. If you've ever been in trial or court, and everyone is informed if you don't take the plea, you could get the maximum. Everyone is informed of this. Man, money is the root of all evil. Because there were a ton of other things they could have convicted him for with a plea deal.
So this one, they definitely did have a GoFundMe. I think they said something about them raising upwards like 700 racks or something crazy like that. And I will have to say, if they legit did get anywhere around that amount of money, my biggest question, more than anything else, would be, why in the hell did Karmelo Anthony only have a public defender? And all those good people gave money to that family to help him out so he could actually defend himself. Because I'm a huge proponent of innocent to proven guilty. I haven't said anything about this case. I haven't talked about it yet until after they had finally released the verdict. And after looking into that trial, what I would have to say is the reason why Karmelo Anthony is guilty more than anything is not because of how much evidence that the prosecutors or the plaintiffs had. It's the terrible defense that Karmelo Anthony had. Public defender, didn't have any videos or any testimonies, anybody testifying in his favor. Karmelo Anthony didn't even take the stand because they didn't think he would do a good job being cross-examined and getting asked those hard questions, make sure he doesn't lie on the oath so they can't hit with perjury. They had no defense. All they had was just a talking point of him fearing for his life and defending himself. And I'm sorry to say, even as a black person, I really have to say this, like, bruh, we was always playing by police. I always sitting there saying that shit to us. Oh, I fear for my life, so I had to kill the black person. Yeah, I hate when police do it. So I should keep that same energy, and not just think that's enough for Karmelo Anthony to get off the hook. That's a bogus argument. We all know it. Y'all said that when police got away with it, so don't. No, you actually need to have a good defense. Why the hell didn't his parents get him a real lawyer? Well, not I wouldn't say a real lawyer, but a better lawyer. Why? I will agree with him on that. Is why in the hell did you let him go on there a public defender? Especially because he had to talk to his parents. His parents said, no, we think you're not guilty. Let's take this trial. Okay, so why didn't you prep for it? They had no defense. The way our legal system works is basically as a huge debate, and we just battle it out for who we think is right. It's just a big debate. That's it. My evidence versus yours. Which one is better? Which one? Whose logic is better? Whose more? That's it. And then based off that, we make our verdict. And with this criminal case, it's without a shadow of a doubt. And since you got a couple of people that were actually there, and what it looks like is all of them were testifying against Karmelo Anthony, and there was a video, but apparently wasn't all that good. So yeah, you can use it, but it really didn't help Karmelo's case either. So he had a weak defense, bro. And I believe the parents actually spoke out on this. Found it actually.
So, do you believe your son received a fair trial?
No,
Absolutely not.
absolutely not.
Absolutely not. And we're gonna keep fighting. We will not stop fighting for justice for my son.
Yeah, it's very it's hard for us right now, and I've had my moments, and we want our children to do better, right? We look at our YNs. This wasn't a YN. So what we gonna do about this not YN? We can make more YNs. Now you got a kid, like I just told you, everything that we're telling you right now is verified. 2 jobs with the HEB Foot Locker. That's who came to the buying him. His GPA, he still graduated through all this. He still graduated high school. He still graduated. The lady the kid he saved, this stuff really happened. He was never in trouble, and no, he was never suspended for no knife. But they had actually what I learned was they had a smear campaign that they did. I wasn't familiar with that, and a lot of people that we were reaching out with, I understand business. A lot of people, they got a lot of things going on. So we was reaching out, I was emailing, but everybody want to go through, it's kind of a circle thing, which I understand. But I realized through this, black entertainment is going to have to be a black network is going to have to be done, because I'm looking for people who would never understand it.
All right, let me try.
I just want to hear the parents when we were trying to hear what's the name of officer. I can't remember his name. No offense to him, but Tatum. There we go, Officer Tatum. But I mean, if y'all plan on taking this to appeals court, I would hope you actually prep for it and actually bring better evidence to support Karmelo, support your son, so that you can actually get him off of this. At the end of the day, I still do think there was fault on Karmelo's side, because you shouldn't have had a weapon at a track meet. And I don't think use of deadly force was necessary. Me personally, I think all of this could have been avoidable. I really do. I really do think all of this could have been avoidable. I'm not going to speak on either the white boy's character, the young white boys, the Metcalf family, or Karmelo's character. It's just an unfortunate situation. Young kids doing dumb stuff, let emotions get the best of them, and they did some dumb stuff, and now they got to pay for the consequences because they did the worst possible outcome that could possibly happen, which somebody died. Kids being kids to where it led to something being very tragic happening. It's unfortunate. All this other stuff about racism and stuff like that, I don't see any evidence of that. I just don't. I understand why a lot of black folks are hurt, but I would say instead of protesting, if you really want to help the Anthony family, as I know a lot of you already helped by trying to give out the GoFundMe money, but since they didn't even pay to get him an actual really good lawyer for his defense, I don't know if giving him money is really going to help. I don't think throwing money at the problem is going to fix it. If anything, help build Karmelo a case to defend himself and build up some evidence. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to court, it's not about what you know, it's about what you can prove. At the end of the day, Karmelo Anthony had a weak defense in that court case. He did. Absolutely horrendous, abysmal defense. So if you're going to take it to appeal, well, you actually better have paid for a really good lawyer and actually build up some evidence to defend him. If not, you're just going to run into the same situation. He's going to be guilty again. What you going to do? Try to move to the Supreme Court? And if that's the case, no. The main issue I have with my people, my black people, is we don't do stuff that work. We do stuff too much out of emotion. I want us to stop protesting. It don't mean nothing. We try to boycott Target. They ain't doing nothing. It's still black folks that go to Target. Everybody get over that, bro. We need to do stuff that actually works. Do stuff that's actually going to produce results and not do stuff out of emotion. Yes, we have emotions. It's okay to have feelings. But at the end of the day, this is some grown folks stuff. This is real life stuff. This is serious shit. We actually need to do stuff that works and that's actually going to produce the desired results. If not, all this whining and complaining ain't going to do it. I'm sorry. If you really think that Karmelo Anthony is innocent, then just speaking out about it, that's nice and all to bring attention to it. But if you're not doing the real work to actually do what it needs to take to actually make him be found innocent, and I do get the whole, well, he had an all-white jury or whatever and stuff like that. I haven't really looked into the whole process of them selecting their jurors. I do know that they have to kind of investigate them a little bit to make sure that they can give a verdict as unbiasedly as possible, which is pretty much nearly virtually impossible because typically the jurors are going to be people that's in that community that the crime happened in. So I'm sure yes, about every single black person they would have found probably can't be unbiased. I'm sure we can say the same thing about the white folks, but it's just they had to get somebody, unfortunately. And black people showed the most bias because you saw how we were talking about how the kids should both be dead, and it's insane. I think this whole thing is just a shit show. It's unfortunate that both parents are losing a child. And yeah, we just need to do better, do things that actually work, man. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all for having me, man. I just wanted to have that tough combo with y'all. It's a touchy situation. I wish nothing but the best for both families. I want nothing but justice and the truth to come out. And that's about it. But yeah, if you care about them, actually get some real happiness for them. That's all I got to say, man. Appreciate y'all for having me. Until next time, man. Enjoy yourselves. Peace.